at the beginning of the pandemic, my wife asked me, she's like, okay, what am I going to, she got temporarily laid off from her job. And she's like, well, what am I going to do? I said, well, why don't you try playing a game or something? Like, find something to fill your time. And she's like, I don't know what to play. I said, well, Google it, see what people were saying. And she came across a game called Animal Crossing.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, she buys a Switch. Now she has an Animal Crossing Switch. She has plushies for the game. Like, it developed beyond that. It's like, everybody's going to have a style of game that they enjoy that may not even exist right now. Like, people in Frank, you know, they might enjoy a type of game that's just not here yet.
Very true.
Their time will come. Their game will eventually come. Eventually, developers will continue to breach into new categories, try new things, and that will attract new people. And then obviously, you know, the other games just have to retain those of us that are still in here.
Right.
Yeah, I also think it would also roll into the entertainment aspect of it as well. You were talking about popular, you know, icons in the industry and stuff like that, but I also think it's worth mentioning, you know, we have this new wave of internet series like Arcane, or coming up is the new Halo series, right? I am over the moon about that at the moment. And so I guess, you know, straight to the point, like, I know for a fact you've watched Arcane. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about it?
First, have you seen Arcane?
Not familiar.
Okay,
not
so
familiar.
I am not going to spoil. I will keep this entirely spoiler-free.
Okay,
We'll say,
all right.
Did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender growing up?
I did not.
You didn't?
I'm going to say that very quietly.
Have you watched any, like, animation in general, whether Western or, like, Japanese anime? Like, have you watched any sort of animated series? Pokemon growing up?
Bro, do you even watch TV?
I'm going to get destroyed here. No, I have not. I was, like, slightly into Yu-Gi-Oh! Slightly as a kid, but that was it.
Okay, entertainment-wise, what do you watch?
Popular Netflix series, but not animation.
Like Arcane?
So I would say, I mean, Game of Thrones or The Witcher. I do watch I've seen The Witcher.
Perfect. I will sell you on Arcane in relation to Game of Thrones. Why?
Okay, perfect.
I absolutely love Game of Thrones. We're not going to talk about the final 2 seasons.
Okay. No, we're not.
One of the greater parts of Game of Thrones was watching the power dynamic between the houses, right?
Right.
And seeing who was going to take control, who was going to lose it, who tried to maintain the different methods of going about that. Arcane is a series within the League of Legends universe that is very much about a nation that is under control of somebody else trying to find their way into sovereignty. Okay. And basically try and fight for their own right while the main nation deals with its own problems as is. Think of it like Game of Thrones and what's the name of the main town that why am I blanking right now? I cannot remember.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
That Cersei was from. What, the Lannister family. I cannot remember the name of the town. But basically, like, imagine the whole dynamic of that main city, and then the outside worlds as well, just animated. Okay. With the same adult theme, but obviously nowhere near the blood and gore, nor any of that. Right. But if you enjoy Game of Thrones and you enjoy, like, the power dynamics and some of the themes that go on there, you will enjoy Arcane.
Really? Okay. You got me hooked. I think I'm gonna go home and watch it.
There you go. Salesman of the year.
Yeah, I was about to say.
3 episodes. That's all I'm asking. Because the way they released it was they released it in 3 different trilogies, where it was 3 episodes, and then you jump a little bit of time, and then you do 3 more and 3 more.
Gotcha.
Sit through the first 3. Okay. Because there's a nice twist on the 3rd one that will hook you and make you want to watch the rest.
Gotcha. Okay. You're shaking your head over here too. All right.
Dog, this series is fire,
all right. I'm hyped. So I got something to watch when I get home.
Dude, it's I'm an animation guy at heart. Okay. Like, graduated with an illustration degree. You know, a little bit of animation in there. And
hell yeah.
It's so good. That's the writing of it, fantastic.
I'm not an animation fan at all. Like, Avatar was the only series that I've watched in that type of genre. Like, I don't watch any anime.
Really? Okay.
Like, Pokemon beyond, like, the initial series when I was like 5 or 6, like, didn't really do anything for me. Like, this was it was interesting to see how adult it could be, despite being an animated series. Rick and Morty is the single exception. That is the single exception.
All right.
I feel for most, Rick and Morty is definitely up in the top tier of an animation level. But
I'll tell you what happens as a result of Arcane within gaming. The characters that were in that show saw 20 to 30% play rate increases in the game. They sold skins.
That's a really interesting metric.
They sold skins for every single character that was in the game there. They're insanely popular right now, so they're making money inside the game because of the animated series there.
That's nuts. That crossover is nuts. Okay.
So that's why I'm curious
Wow.
to see what happens with Halo. If the
Right.
Master Chief, if that series takes off on Paramount Plus,
Right.
will you see a surge in popularity for Halo? But Halo's in a much different state than League of Legends.
Right.
is.
Quite a bit. I'm just telling you now,
Interesting, okay.
there's not a gravity hammer in that series. I'm turning it off. If I don't see
Oh,
somebody
no,
get
no,
bludgeoned
no.
with it, it's over.
It's got to be
over.
there.
Dude, Griff Ball, over. That's my whole childhood in a nutshell. That infected. But I was just curious, asking those kind of questions because, we have that fluctuation of games turning into series, or as of now. And I'm just curious what that would look like for these franchises and the gaming industry as a whole. You have any thoughts? Any focus on maybe not necessarily it being good for games, but possibly being bad for Halo? Maybe being bad for, League to an extent? Because I think it could rise, nostalgia to an extent.
Right.
People go back
Of
to
course.
Halo Reach, dope,
Most
but this
powerful
shit sucks.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I'm pondering, maybe it makes Halo games look terrible in comparison because the series was so good.
Right. So I guess what you're getting at is like if something new, if they come out with something new, if it reflects poorly or if it ruins somebody's the way they perceived
does the
it.
supplemental
Exactly,
content affect the main thing?
So it's kind of like, what was that show or that movie that came out recent? I think it was it Sonic? That they put out and it was
yes.
so bad.
Yeah,
that they retracted
redid
the whole thing.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And they reimagined it because people were so upset with how it was portrayed.
His teeth looked like it looked like something straight out of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
that
right.
Game. It was
Yep.
bad.
It was not good.
It was
not
horrific.
good.
But the movie, once they went back and redid it, the movie sold incredibly well.
Right.
Enough to the point where now we have a sequel coming out.
Exactly.
Exactly,
And that's why it's so important to hit that nostalgic and that genuine aspect of it to match what people envision it as.
Yeah.
So.
You also just had Uncharted come out.
Right.
Exactly,
Have
dude.
you guys seen it?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. I
You've
want
seen
to
it?
though.
No.
Oh,
I
thank
haven't.
God.
I'm scared to because
Interesting.
it's like Tom Holland
Right.
in my mind is Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
100%.
Right.
Playing the Uncharted games, it's like I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to distinguish the two.
I get that.
And it's going to ruin it just because I'm so endemic to both Tom Holland and then
Right.
the Uncharted series that it's like
it's confusing.
I don't want to take a chance because it's like if I'm coming in biased and I know that, so
Right.
it's like I don't want to ruin it for somebody else saying that I didn't like it because I can't get over my own notions coming in.
Sure. So how do you
that.
think that would affect you guys as content creators? If we're talking about like Halo jumping ship or Uncharted jumping ship and going straight into like cinema or film, how do you think that would affect you guys as content creators?
It boosted mine, I'll tell you that right now.
100%.
Word?
Because I made several videos about Arcane, not only while it was coming out, but then like tracking the production when it was initially announced like
The
a
hype.
few years ago.
Yeah.
And all of those videos popped. Literally all of them. Like at the time I was sitting at, I think, right around 7,000 to 8,000 followers on TikTok, and those would get on average about 30 to 32,000 views per
Wow.
video. And it's only scaled up since then.
Right.
That it's like anytime you mention Arcane now online, if you're a League of Legends content creator or affiliated with Riot in any way, you will see a noticeable bump. Like these series, these supplemental things definitely have an impact. Whether they get more people playing the game or not,
Right.
we haven't seen that in North America at least, but I can't speak for Halo or any of the other games. Hopefully it works. But
Right.
I mean, I think it comes out at the end of March, so I mean, we'll definitely.
Are you excited?
Yeah, the nostalgia is what gets to me. You know what I mean?
100%.
Halo was just a big thing for me, and I guess it's been a big thing for a lot of people. And I think just that idea of like taking into consideration, like Uncharted. I haven't seen it yet. Of course, I'm excited for it. Or The Mandalorian. Tailoring off of Star Wars and how it just totally bred this new wave of people looking forward to something different and more exclusive to the series. I'm very excited for Halo because I saw what happened with Arcane, right? We can talk about that. I saw it, but I think from a film perspective, there is Arcane being an animation style, and then there's Halo being more of a film. How those two would differ in its contrast. Like I remember Halo came out with a comic series. I was a big comic book nerd back in the day. I still am. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hell yeah,
but,
hell
yeah. I'm just looking at those Halo comics and feeling like there was a part of it that was missing, but having that actual series put together and being live action was very, very. It's very intriguing. I'm very, very curious to see where this is all gonna roll out.
Do you think the new generation though will latch on to, like, without the nostalgia factor, because a lot of people didn't grow up with Halo. Like, granted, we did,
yeah,
but like, how are you gonna convince a Fortnite kid unless there's a Master Chief skin in the game, which notably Arcane put a Jinx skin in Fortnite?
Sure.
How are you gonna convince a Fortnite kid to buy into Halo in the same way that you do without the nostalgia factor? Because they don't have that.
I feel like if you tap into the sense of, you know, fairy tale ideology and trying to make something interesting, just as much as like these shows coming out of the brink, like Stranger Things by chance. No fucking anywhere close to the amount of hype that got throughout its continuance, and it's coming out soon.
Yes,
Again, another one that I'm bugging over. I can't wait.
Have you been to the Stranger Things store?
Dude,
no,
I
want to make my way over there though. Where? I don't even know where that is.
Right in Times Square.
Is it right?
Somewhere.
I saw it, but it was closed when I saw it. That's right. I need to see that.
But no, I just think that, you know, along with Stranger Things, there was a sense of where can this go, because this is a new idea that we haven't really talked about. Halo, on the other hand, we have talked about it. We have explored the series for what, 7 games?
Yeah.
8 games? And so it's like, you know, where can this go next? And I think making that interesting and making that connection with the younger audience. I know for myself, you know, horror movies were always my go-to. So it's like blood, gore, guts, zombies, that's me through and through. Anything with that little bit of chemistry is going to send me over the loop about it. But what is it about Halo in particular, maybe to you guys actually, what is it about Halo, if you were strongly into it? If you weren't, sucks to be you, because it was a hell of a series. But, you know, what about Halo made it so intriguing to you guys? If it was ever intriguing to begin with.
I mean, I did play Halo, and I think the biggest aspect for me was just the fact that my friends, like being a kid, it was the fact that my friends were playing it. Because when I was playing Halo, it was before I even had a console. So I died to go over to my friend's house to play the game that was popular.
4-person split screen.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the element of it being futuristic and like a world, kind of like we were talking about earlier, that you can get lost in, that's not the world we live in. It's exciting, it's thrilling. So I think for me that was probably the biggest aspect, is just living in a world doing crazy things that you can't do in this one.
Has Warzone captured your attention the same way, or is your love for Warzone
That's a good question. I think it's definitely different. I think it's a whole different kind of route of the battle royale scene. Obviously, it's more realistic, it's more modern. And that's more just the thrill of staying alive, being the last to win kind of vibe in comparison to the futuristic element. But
I'm curious, have you given any thought to what's next? Because, so for context, go back to 2013. Minecraft as a game comes out, and everybody's loving it. But there's also this television series, or this movie series called The Hunger Games, which comes out.
Right.
That people were like, okay, well, this would be kind of cool to play it in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Arma 2, I think, was the first game to have a battle royale. But Minecraft was the one that popularized it. They had the Minecraft Hunger Games with, like, early on creators like Bayesian Canadians, Big Star from the Side, and like all that.
Oh my god.
They really pushed that bubble, which then led to H1Z1, PUBG, and then you had Fortnite. And then we hear that Warzone's coming out as well. Like, it was very much like the polishing of a trend, not necessarily the creation of one.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to place a guess, what's next?